really cheeky and press record just before you came back with your coffee, because this is real, right? This is real conversation. Yep. Why do you need coffee so bad?
Oh, because I've been on the East Coast and got back late last night. I've been up super early this morning, burning the time zone calendar.
Yeah, not that we expect you to be on 5:30 a.m. calls, but you did tell me yesterday that that was like 8:30 for you, right? Because you're still on East Coast time. So,
yep.
But I'm sure coffee is needing to kick in.
Yep.
I know just before we press record here as well that you're accompanied in the room at the moment, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so my regular office mate, our COVID puppy, well, she's not puppy anymore, 4-year-old Basset Hound, who I just picked up from the kennel. She's been there for a few days, so she's sniffing around and checking out the house and making sure everything's just as she left it.
Nice. Does she enjoy the kennels? Does she get scared? Like, what's she like?
She loves it, actually. I mean, she's very happy to leave. She ran to the car this morning to jump in, but when I put her bed in the car last week to go, she knew what was going on and ran out to the car. And yeah, she's a little bit of a diva, so she loves the attention that she gets there.
Nice. Our little puppy, as you know, he'll be going away for his first week in about 3 weeks' time. So that's going to be interesting. But he's actually going back to where he was born. So he gets to spend a week with his mum and all the, not his litter mates, because obviously they're elsewhere, but 7 other dogs. It's not a kennel. It's just the guy who is at the yard where Carla is. He's just going there for a week. So yeah, we're super intrigued as to what that's going to be like the first time, but I think it'll be quite good for him.
Yep. I mean, hanging out with those others, it's great socialization for them.
Exactly. Anyway, enough about dogs. We can talk about puppies all day long. As we know, like, this conversation is about anyone that watches this to get to know Gordon a little bit. And you've had no prep for this, apart from me telling you that it's just going to be honest conversation. The only prep I've done is, I've got a few questions I want to ask you. So you don't know what these questions are. They could be anything, but completely unprepped, completely just, they might shock you and you might hesitate. Who knows? But that's where we get the best conversation out of this. So the first question for you, I've got 5 of these. The first question is, tell us about Gordon. Not Gordon the skillosopher, but Gordon the person.
Oh, I mean, that's how long? Yeah, I mean,
a minute or two. Let's say a minute or two. For each answer.
I mean, I do all these psychometric tests, and I've been doing them on and off at every company that I've been at almost, and they've been uniform in the facilitator, the teacher, the helper as kind of the core part of who I am. And when I think about who Gordon is, that's who I am. So sometimes I want to educate people, whatever the question might be, and they want the answer, and it's like, oh no, Gordon, get to the point. But I'm trying to help teach you to fish, right? Instead of just give you the fish. And that's me. I mean, I've been out here in the US for it'll be 25 years in January, having moved out for 3 months when I started a technical writing company, and that was one massive career change to another, and a life change and everything. But it's facilitating and helping people. My UK career was in corporate enterprise learning, and my US based career has all been about skills and hobbies and everything behind that. It's like, okay, then how can I help people, like volunteering on the ski patrol here at Mount Spokane? So yeah,
I love that. I love that hobby that you've got over the winter, and I know you've got a whole bunch of stories. And there's so many things that you do amazingly, but I'm going to tell you one thing that I think is is shockingly awful. This is bold of me right now. What's shockingly awful is your American accent. Like, you haven't got one. It's pure English. Like, what? How come you never developed any kind of American twang?
Well, it depends who you ask. I mean, when I get asked about it, I feel myself become a bit more English. But I was flying back for business a couple of years ago and jumped into a taxi at Heathrow, and the cab driver says, "Oh, what part of the States do you live in?" And I barely, all I said was a hotel name and address, and I almost wanted to say, "Just take me back to the airport and send me back to the US."
It's amazing. I love that. So we've learned a little bit about Gordon the person. Going into the kind of professional career piece that you've kind of touched upon, what is your greatest career achievement?
That my single I don't a single greatest career achievement. That's such a hard question, Ollie. I mean, there are many. I mean, having run a business, one of them has to be. It's kind of what I think about in this where we are with skills today. But one of them is being able to pass on the good fortune that people have trusted me with in recognizing potential and giving me an opportunity that I wasn't sure that I could do, and going and doing it. And I've it's changed my life. The couple of people who I think back on who've given that to me, and it shouldn't be about luck and them taking a gamble, but whilst there isn't a standard transparent way to do that, it has to be a bit about people taking a risk on others. And I've done that myself to pass on when I think I've seen that capability, and where those people have then taken that and changed their lives and their families' lives. That actually is probably one of my biggest career successes.
I love that. And that's almost without you actually knowing what the third question is that I've got written down here. I think this kind of starts to go into that. And we were talking a little bit about this just earlier today, right? Luck and people taking risks on people. I firmly believe, and I'd love people's opinions of who watches this and your opinion, but I firmly believe that in those situations, we make our own luck and people take risks or gambles, as you put it, with people, not as a complete risk and gamble, but actually because the person they're taking that risk on, they recognize that that person operates at all times with a level of integrity that leads to that level of trust for that person to feel like they're, maybe not so much taking a risk or a gamble, but they feel like deeply, emotionally involved with that particular risk and not necessarily like logically involved with that. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I mean, when those moments presented themselves, my dad used to say to me, it's like, they're not asking you because they think you're going to fail. They don't want to set you up to fail if those people are giving you that opportunity. But even if you do, that is that's a growth moment, right? Failing is learning. And there were opportunities that he didn't take, which I think is where his wisdom came in passing that to me. And it's like, okay, what is this one of those moments? And yeah, I've taken them. I've changed industries, changed jobs, changed countries in those moments.
I loved it. I love it. Changing jobs, changing industries, changing careers. I'm not going to go into the career pathing fallacy that we've kind of spoken about before. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But that third question that I mentioned, is going to be this: what drives you as a human being? What drives you? What is your purpose?
I mean, I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. It is to make, I mean, the word democratize gets used a lot in all sorts of weird contexts right now, but really to just find scaled ways to open those opportunities for people. I'm a STAR, as the acronym over here in the US, skilled through alternative routes. I don't have a degree, and I I wear it as a bit of a hair shirt sometimes. I wear it as a bit of a chip on my shoulder, if I'm honest. And it is also terrifying at the thought of being on the US job market in the past, where degrees have been such a gateway entry. And whatever people say about ATSs not making decisions about accepting applications into talent pools, I guarantee they do. And if you don't have a degree, you don't get in. There's no recruiter overriding that checkbox on the program. And there's a lot of wasted, lost opportunity that people can be hungry for. I was mentioning earlier, kind of providing that opportunity to others, and one of those people, having got an opportunity, then went on and got a degree, and went on and has had an amazing, life-changing career for her and her family since that. And being able to take the skills conversation to the next level, that truly opens that up. That's what gets me excited and agitated about this. The potential's always been true, but we're so close now. So close.
I love that. And I feel like this kind of drive as a human and what's your purpose, that is as a human being, but it's so closely related now to what you're actually doing kind of work-wise. Is there anything you can elaborate on for folks on that? You know, how does that tie into what you're doing on a daily basis now?
Yeah, I mean, on a daily basis, I mean, being recognized. I mean, you mentioned skillosopher, right? But we're being asked and trusted for a perspective of where should skills go by vendors or by enterprise clients, and helping them see through the noise of skills. And you're gonna smile because I'm gonna say it here, right? The lists of nouns of skills of the last 20 years that I've been an absolute advocate of, right? And so it's potentially heretic of me to say they will not get us to where we need to be. Noun
Go on,
lists.
say it, Gordon. Go on, say it. Because you've avoided the phrase, but I love the phrase. It's so true. Or are you going to just leave everyone hanging? Everyone's going to reach out to you now and get, what is that phrase?
Yeah, I'm going to leave it out there. Yep. Look for it in my next post.
Yeah, we have some kind of cryptic anagram somewhere about it. Okay, I've got two more for you. I'm going to shift gears a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you tell everyone one interesting, I guess the word interesting is a perception, I suppose, but one interesting personal life fact that we might not know about you?
Yeah, that might not be, it might draw anyway. I've sailed around the world. I am a circumnavigator, and there are now fewer people who've circumnavigated than have climbed Everest.
Oh, you've blown me away on that one. That's impressive. That's really cool. Okay, that's very good. Okay, last question. This is a little bit of a cliched question, so it's but I'm going to do it with a twist. So it's the dinner party question, right? So, who would you invite to a dinner party? Why would you invite them? But the twist is, it doesn't have to be a dinner party. It could be drinks at a pub. It could be like any kind of social gathering type of event that you would invite. So why would it be that event? Who would you invite, and why would you invite them?
Oh, I have always had a fascination with Buddhism as a philosophy, not as a religion, and so I think the Dalai Lama would be an amazing, inspirational, perspective granting person to sit and have a conversation with.
Deep. It's deep. Would you have anyone else, or would you want to have that kind of one-on-one time with the Dalai Lama?
Oh, I'd absolutely need somebody else, because, as you said, it would be deep, and I would have to process. One of the things I'm also known for is my pregnant pause, and the number of people that say, "You still there, Gordon? You still there?" on the phone when I'm consuming and thinking about what it is they've said. Who else would be an interesting foil for that conversation? I don't know, man. There's so many great travelers and thinkers, past and present. It's a great question.
It's a tough one. Well, what I'm getting out of this conversation is the next time you come to the UK, you're going to sail here from Seattle. So you're going to have to probably navigate your way through down south, past Argentina, parts of the Southern Ocean. I can't imagine that's particularly pleasant all the way up the Atlantic. So, no, appreciate it. That's all I've got for you. I told you it would be short and sharp, and it would get you thinking. But thank you.
It's fun, man. There's those kinds of questions. You sit and have your cup of coffee in the morning, and it's hard to be introspective in some of those questions sometimes. So yeah.
You needed that coffee. All right. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.